StreamYard. There we go. So,
good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, this wonderful day, January 1st, January 24th, 2023. And I am opening my Facebook page right now so everybody can get on. We are live on Twitch. We are live on Twitter. We are live on the YouTube channel. The name of the show, of course, Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. We are live on my Facebook page, which is Sunshine Camila, Kamela. Again, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It is proven over and over again since we have started this show. I am excited tonight. Of course, I am biased because I believe that all my guests are dope. They are the best of all the best. And I feel like the world needs to know who they are. So tonight, there's no stranger to cameras, literally. Um, she is, we were trying to figure out the time frame. So I've known this beauty since August of 2021, where I stepped into something different for myself. So tonight we're going to talk about some awesome things, but I want you to know who Nadia is. So she says, "My name is Nadia Jazelle. I am a model from Detroit, Michigan. She's 23 years old. I have been modeling for a few years now. I have experience in runway, print, and commercial work. My passion was built on my desire to dream big and want more. I started off my modeling career in college, not being sure what major I wanted to pursue. I was determined to keep a positive attitude and stay encouraged throughout this journey. My journey as a model speaks for me because my confidence was built on self perseverance. Imagine knowing you're chosen, but having to live with feelings of insecurities, fear of loss, and being faced with the reality of never wanting to go back from where you come from. Thoughts like my skin tone wasn't good enough, my weight was not accepted, tried to become hindrance in my mind, but later became my biggest asset that I strive to own up to in this industry. Finding myself, loving myself, having peace within myself was a declaration I made known that I would not and could not fall short on. My mission is to change the way modeling is viewed and encourage others to believe in themselves, strive for greatness, and never give up. Teaching young girls and women the way of building their brand, creating their legacy, and walking in confidence is what it will take to sustain the presence of modeling in the future of this industry. Giving hope to others, rebuilding their fitness, minds, and talents at any given cost, the way it should be. So tonight, I want you guys to welcome Nadia Jazelle to the Keeping It Real Conversation show.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Again, I'm so excited to have you here. Finally, we have been trying to do this for a minute, but however, I want to let the people know how I met you. In August, actually a little bit before August, I believe it was, in 2021, I had the opportunity to be in my first runway fashion show with Latricia Johnson of More of Me to Love. boutique, and she did her fashion show. She auditioned, and when I went and found out about it, it was the best decision I have ever done. Next to, of course, loving God. Um, it changed my life. It changed my perception of myself. I learned so much about myself, and I gained so much confidence that no longer would I have low self-esteem, um, or any of those type of things where being a model will give you just that. I recommend it for not only just females, but males as well. So now that we know how I met you, right next to me, we were paired up a lot in learning how to walk the runway and how to model in your shoes and things of that nature. And I'm like, she's a newbie like me until it was time to get in front of the camera. She literally became a whole new person. And I have been watching her ever since. And when I tell you, baby girl, she got it. So let's go back to the beginning in your journey of finding the voice within. Finding the voice within, God will always lead you to your destiny. When did you know that this was something you wanted to do?
Actually, all of this started while I was in college. It was very frustrating because something like bubbled in me, and I want to get into like how the story first started, but something like literally bubbled in me once I started modeling, but I had to focus on school. Everyone's like, focus on school, focus on school. You need a degree, you need a degree. And it hurt a little bit because I'm like, in the in between of it's many different things God has told me to do over the year. I actually went in pre-med, so I was nothing with any artistic ability. Like I was an artist to start off with, but when I went to school, I was like, I want to be a DO. I wanted to be a doctor of osteopathic medicine, and I volunteered with my church for a year, my freshman year during the summer. So like my life just kept shifting while I was in school. I kept shifting ideas, shifting who I was while I was in school, and even shifting in my faith and growing more closer to God, so I could even hear the direction. But my freshman year, the second semester, my best friend actually seen about casting for modeling, and like we just listen to God and just go, and she felt like, let's try. And so we both tried out every day. The irony of not what I see now, but when I seen back then, a lot of the models were so mean, but I was determined to finish what I started. So I would go to the castings exhausted from schoolwork and staying up late for like the practices and everything. And I kid you not, the day leading up to the day before and the day of, they said, if you don't kill it, we'll take your spot. And that hurt me so much. But like when I tell you, the moment before I went on that stage, me and my best friend prayed. And like when I went out there, it's like I was walking on air, and I can't over exaggerate or under exaggerate it. For me, it felt like I was public speaking, like I was in front of a whole audience just talking. But it just felt like the level of confidence I felt was unremarkable. For my family, even my pastors, they like, I can tell that was you and God, because the person that they seen before wasn't the same person they seen on that stage. And that was the first time I ever felt like that. And even recently I prayed a lot before one of my shows I had in Lansing. And the whole day, even before I walked on the stage, I was in pure joy. So that's how I can kind of tell this is a place I'm meant to be, because joy falls on me. Like I feel my authentic self when I'm just being positive and uplifting others to be themselves. And I guess it just happened along the way. I've been told, like, um, personally in my own prayer times, I heard that you are a model, but it's not the season yet. So I had to finish. Once I finished school, I was retold, try out, and I tried out for Latrice's show. But since I went through a lot of adversity of people like no, like in comparison, I was a little nervous. But I can say being a part of her show reignited. It started to reignite. Like you know how you turn on the flame,
Mm-hmm.
it started to reignite my fire a little bit where I was starting back to like, okay, I can do this. And it like, it's just the small exercises of like posing and just smiling and different things and pulling out emotions really helped me be positive to myself and even see things in a different way. Like, okay, models can be nice to themselves. Models are sweet. And then slowly after that, I started to even change how I prayed about modeling. Like, God, send me people that love you. He's been sending me makeup artists that love God. He sent me models that love God, hairstyle, all these different things. The pieces I asked him, send me people of your spirit, or even people that might bless me, don't understand why. And I just, as I've been in this industry, I've just seen myself growing and shifting, but it can be scary. And it is a process, I can say.
Absolutely. Like I was saying earlier, when you connect with people of God, there's a genuine, like the story of when Mary and Elizabeth met, and uh John the Baptist and Jesus leaped in their womb. You can feel it, and it exudes from them. They're super happy, or you can tell when their presence is not there. We became close, being in that moment of, in Latrice's show, it was build the women up.
Yes.
It was never you can't or hating on someone else.
Yeah.
Mind you, the women were of all shapes and sizes,
Yes.
all different complexions, and of all different ages. I
Yeah.
had never seen that before.
Me neither.
So from that point, we became sisters. We were very concerned about everyone, making sure that everyone had what they needed, pushing those who, might not felt pretty or whatever the case may be. By the time we had that show, everybody came out of their cocoon
Yes.
and emerged these beautiful queens and butterflies. Um, and from that moment, I have been watching you, and I'm looking at these pictures like, that can't be the same person. It can't be. And I said, when I asked my guests to come on, of course, they're all, God tells me, and it's to let people know, no matter where you come from, no matter the age, if it's day or night, you still have an assignment.
Come on, God.
You have an assignment. Somebody is waiting on you. They might have never seen anyone. I look at your wedding dresses and I'm like, I am seeing ebony. I am looking at Essence and Jet. I'm looking at the next Tyra Banks or whatever the case may be, in her own fashion, not looking like Tyra, but in your own way. And I'm like, I'm just blessed to know you.
I am truly honored to even hear that, and that even in this process, I sometimes get super discouraged. And I'm so, so grateful that God has even taken the time to connect me with so many people that like that iron sharpen iron. That's all I can say. Like throughout this journey, when I get discouraged, when I get muffled, because it's life's like it's always happening. It's always going. And since I'm a recent college grad, in the process, I do get discouraged, but I'm so grateful for the people that come like, no, I see you. And then it's like, I might do these little things and everyone always gets the happy picture, but I'm so grateful for the other people that just come and pour back into me when I feel empty. That's kind of how my process, like what helped my process to begin with, of course.
We also talked about, and that is really good. It's very important, especially when you're a trailblazer. I say this all the time. It's not easy being a first. I am one of literally the firstborn, and then two, um, when you're doing something different, everybody might not get what you're doing at first. And so even if they don't get it, you still got to go for it again. No matter if it's night or day, you're still on assignment. So again, sometimes you have those moments like, why you pick me? Why do I have to be the one to do this? But then he comes back and he reassures you with someone like you, someone like Latricia, or someone like Shantae, somebody that will actually see and understand the vision that God has given you. Remember, visions are not for everyone. Now, God will bring the connections and the people to help you and undergird you, to push you into your destiny, to help you get out the boat, because we got to walk on water.
Yeah, that is true. I see that every day, but I am grateful for the pushing, and it's honestly just beautiful because even this week I was just told, like, I'm grateful you're not giving up on your process, that you've been letting him process you, because it is a processing. When you are that trailblazer, where no one in my family, they looked at me because of my height and they're like, you should model or play football. I'm not football, but basketball, because you have the height, and no one gave me the instruction. So the desire was there as a kid. I did one show when I was a little kid in school. My posture was so bad because I was afraid to be tall. And now I'm like, I wish I had an extra inch because everyone's tall now. But it's just, it's interesting on, and that's why I believe everything happens for a reason. And of course, it happens when it's meant to happen. And in this process, I have to remember to be patient with myself and constantly to focus back on God, because I do compare myself, but I know whatever he has for me is bigger than what I see and what I try to compare myself to, because it's a lot going on in this season. So I'm like, you must be trusting me with more, because he's telling me to do a lot more than even just last year. I'm doing a lot more.
Mm-hmm. So, in your process of getting the first gig in college, of okay, I did that part. What was the part, the behind the scenes of going through the process, learning how to walk, stand up straight, and uh dig deep inside of you of a place you didn't even know existed? So, what was that process like?
Scary. That process was so scary. Honestly, so I was battling a lot at that time because it wasn't a positive atmosphere. Eventually it started to slowly become a positive atmosphere, and sometimes you're battling mental demons that's just you. And because I in my past deal with insecurity and rejection growing up, that's something that bubbled up, of course, first. And then when things were going down, I realized I was shut down. Like, I literally didn't want to walk, I didn't want to practice my posture, I didn't want to be told I was doing things wrong. And I'm being honest and raw, like, I was so hurt that I couldn't get it down. Like, I don't even learn dance lessons when it feels like I'm just going to be wrong. And so overcoming that, I had like my best friend or some models that were nice, like, it's okay, let's practice in this corner over here. Like, let's break it down piece by piece until you get it. And it took for me to even have moments to myself where I'm just praying, even before I went to the castings, praying in the midst of the practices, because I knew mentally I was hard on myself.
Mm-hmm. So, when did you feel like you turned the corner when it came to modeling?
So I still feel like I have the process. I still have that same process that I'm battling because there's still some things God is pulling out of me. But when it comes to runway, I love runway so much that I'm always practicing that, and it's like kind of easier. But I still feel like that shakiness when it comes to castings, because I'm like, oh, what if they don't pick me? But then I also have been in this state where I'm like, if it's not meant for you, God's not gonna let you get it. He's not going to let you settle, for one. And then sometimes he has more he needs you to learn, or like that is more times. But in that moment, I think he gives us enough grace to allow us to feel what we feel. But then when you turn back to him, he feeds you back with what you need to keep going. Because I remember just even now in the past year being bummed about when I went to New York Fashion Week, and it was very devastating for me. Like, I didn't do so successful. I did do a show at the very end, but in the process, I got rejected a lot. And it was hard because I'm used to, since I started like having success and going there and being rejected for my weight, being rejected for my skin tone, it was a lot to process. But then I realized as I even inspired to get out of state this year, I have to go through that process. And I'm asking that God guard my heart and guide my mind, that they let me not pay attention to what they feel. Let me not focus on that. Let me focus on you, because hearts need to be changed. And that's only something you can do. They're rejecting me for stuff they don't understand. So that, in a sense, I lay that back down. And I just, for me, honestly, what gets me through all of this is my faith. Honestly, I lean so heavy on it, and even support from others around me, because it is a hard journey. I'm not discouraging anyone, but it can be heavy if you don't have nothing rooted in. One of my mentor, and now my manager, she told me, like, you need to find why, your why in modeling. You need to find also your goals in modeling. What do you inspire to go? What is your cap? What is your limitation? Like, if you don't make it to supermodel status, would you be satisfied with what you done? And then for me, I know I'm so crazy with God. If it stopped at this point, I'll be okay, because I want to be wherever He wants me to be, because it's going to be grander, way better than anything that I ever see. And I just want to impact people. I just want to have people have love. Like, sometimes in my journey, I was freaking out because I'm like, I'm not getting as many bookings, but that doesn't matter if it all fade. It's somebody else's life gonna be saved at the end of the day. So for me, this is lovely. I'm so grateful I get to be a model, but I'm here today alive. I didn't want to live when God saved my life. My 11th grade year, I did not want to live at all. So everyone sees me now. My family see me now. They're crying because they remember that girl who did not want to live. So regardless of what I see, God's probably throwing me in this industry so others may be encouraged. Look at what she's been through. Even though you see this figure, I always wasn't here. So no matter how hard He takes me, I pray that He keeps my heart in His hand, that others may see that others may see or feel open to share with me their stories, so I can love on them, so they may be encouraged and uplifted. It is a process, and no matter what journey you take, but some people, I believe, are being placed in specific areas so that there can be love spread in there. I hope I didn't get too far off the topic.
No, that is a perfect. When a lot of the conversations will take, like the music industry, and if there was a lot of like backlash from Fantasia or a Kelly Price, or people that are in the secular part of music, and they have to remember God placed them there. God gave them a gift for a reason. And they have to be placed in places that some people won't and can't go.
Yeah.
And so we sometimes we put these labels on people, and I just did this last week, when the labels don't match. The labels don't match sometimes. Who had any idea where you were mentally until you have a conversation with a person? Like, I don't believe in interviews. I have conversations with people. Because when we ask questions and we go back and forth, that's a conversation. That's not interviewing me. And I'm not interviewing you. I really want to know about you. The totality of you. So the conversation is going it's probably better than you thought it was going to go.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we're both in our elements. We're both doing the same thing in a different way. Same thing. I was there at one point. I didn't want to live, and I didn't care. I was going hell backwards. But eventually, God's grace caught up with me. God's mercy caught up with me. And He had a shaking in a conversation with me. I need you to get back on track, because I have people waiting on you.
Come on, God.
So this conversation that I'm having with you is also an empowering both of us, is inspiring someone else that we understand that the walk that we go through is not about us. It never was. But some young lady or some young male who was dealing with this same mental battle, dealing with the ups and downs, and not figuring out, not understanding, why am I being pushed in this direction? You could have went to medical school, but that's not where he wanted you. And because, as we all say, when you say yes to God, wherever it is, he's going to take care of you. He will take care of you. So again, now that we mention the struggle of it, the process of it, and eventually seeing the bigger picture, it will come to pass. Now that you've seen the flip side of modeling, because I do also remember when they used to interview the older models and how they had to deal with rejection, not being skinny, not this and not that. And that came up with depression and the women being bulimic. Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be on top. They wanted to be whatever they were looking for.
Yeah.
They didn't understand, again, if it's for you, it's for you. So now that you've seen that some models were mean, what was the next step for you to change that and make your own?
I guess it kind of just happened in the process. I think Latricia's show was the first time, like, well, actually, I've before Latricia's show, I've done a few shows, well, two shows for a local boutique at the time. Her name was, it was Classy something. I'm sorry, but she was a really sweet lady. She had a boutique, and I did two of her shows. And like I didn't really know the models because we came like right before the show and just got dressed and went along. And I had a few bloopers along the way of like learning on time is not on time. You're actually late to a casting. And that was in the midst of COVID. But I guess Latricia's show was kind of my pivot on how I see how models interact with each other, and that there can be people you can trust. Like, and of course, you have to use discernment. I wouldn't say just like every model, trust them. Don't do that. But I would say that allowing your discernment to be there, and just to like, if you have discernment and like you're praying about it, like that can be key, because that was the first time where generally, like they said in the beginning, and I've heard people say in shows like we're gonna be peaceful, you know, but it was the first time she was like, no, we're not gonna have a negative atmosphere where we're generally not gonna be negative to each other. And I felt it. I felt like even to this day, the models, like model friends and model family I created in that moment still are like, I've been watching you. I'm proud of you. Keep going. I see them in random places. Keep going. It doesn't matter where we are. And so as I continue forward after that, I'm like, I'm going to be me. And authentic me is really bubbly, goofy, and silly. And that's my authentic self. And then even when I pray, it's like joy falls on me. And that's when I have my best shows, my best casting, best anything I do is when I pray for joy and God feels that atmosphere. And that's where I'm hybrid, like boom, 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 boom. And in that space, as I meet other people, I'm generally being myself, and that helps other people be open. At first, I used to hate being so sensitive, hate being so like me, you know, like there's so many layers to every person. I used to hate it. But now that I meet people like, oh, I've never been sensitive before, I needed that. And then I meet people that's like, oh, thank you. Like the show I did in January 1st, like, well, transition into January 1st, the 31st, there was so much going on. And that same 2 day, like the day before and that day, God had me praying for joy so heavy. Like my prayers was taking over, praying for joy so heavy. And I felt myself overflowing in joy, overflowing, because so many people I found out were going through so much in that atmosphere. And so when we were connecting, little did I not know that God was fulfilling a need that they had. So sometimes it's more so me just focusing on God and just staying in joy, and also just authentically just being myself and connecting with people. And if it vibe and if they don't accept it, I bounce to another person, because I don't want to stay in a place of people pleasing anyway. People pleasing anymore. I don't want to be in that. I want to be myself. And that's the journey I'm on, trying to fight to understand who I am and be patient and allow God to guide my path. I said this year, I'm literally trying to label it as faith over fear, to stop trying to make it happen because I think everyone else has more in their portfolio or everyone else is doing more. But did God tell you to do that? Because you can kill yourself trying to rush your process, because you literally can pick up the wrong deal. You can literally burn out not taking care of yourself. For last year trying to force all of these things to happen, I wasn't taking care of my mental state enough. I wasn't taking care of my physical state enough. I wasn't taking care of my bills enough. Well, no, all my bills always stayed paid, thank God. But I wasn't taking care of the random necessities I needed. They were always on the back burner because I was chasing a goal versus allowing God to bring it. This month, as all these goals people seeing is happening, God's bringing it. There's this difference when you're forcing it and He brings it, and that brings you peace.
Yes, and I understand that. Um, and when you arrive, you know, you know, that it was nothing but him. You're at a place, even to the point of where I work at. Like, you're supposed to have XYZ. I don't have that. But because God opened the door and had favor, yes, God, favor showed up in a room that I knew nothing of. And once it stepped in, then God took over and told me, even into the interview, He told me exactly what to say. He told me exactly what to be the thing that say, it's her. Even to the point of, he's one of the supervisors, managers that I work under. He said, I knew it was you. And he kept saying, when you get here, you're going to have your own office. When you get here. And I'm thinking, you have other interviewers, but you kept saying, you, you. So I went home and I told my husband, I said, babe, I think I got this job. He said, why you say that? I said, because they kept saying you. If you're interviewing other people, you'll say, well, the candidate, I'll get back to you. They'll know. They kept saying you. So again, favor goes before you, especially when you're obedient. That's the key. Obedience is way better than sacrifice, but obedience, make a habit of it. It will help you out.
Definitely.
It will.
Definitely.
Because again, and then there's the whole thing. Once you get that door open and you're in and you worship and you praise God and you pray and you have communication with Him, you'll never lose.
Definitely.
And believe me, more people are watching you than you think.
I think so. It's so hard to measure that with the world of social media. It's like, don't know the process, but I do know that, and I am trusting that the more, I think the only reason why I even tried to pick up the plate again was me trying to figure life out. And everyone during this season, like from COVID until now, was like, okay, I got to figure it out. I don't want to struggle. And like one of the biggest things, which is irony, even though God had a rebuttal, one of my biggest things, I just don't want to struggle. I just want to be successful. I want to make my grandmother proud. I want to make myself proud. I want to be greater than what I came from, right? And that's in my bio and everything. But the purpose of that, which is hilarious, is like I. And God said to me one day when I was like, is this going to take off? You know, because everyone wants to know if they're wasting their time or not. And He said, what is the purpose of life? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, the purpose is so I can get the glory. And so people need to see you struggle. So when I take you out of it, I get the glory. And that I keep reminding myself that daily when I get in a tizzy, so I can focus again. Because if I keep trying to figure it out, I will never allow myself to understand this process. This shifting is happening for a reason. You got to go through the pain, so when you get out of it, all people are seeing is the glitter. But in reality, when they hear your story, the people that don't understand how to get there, they're gonna feel encouraged. They're gonna feel loved. They're gonna understand that God loves them enough too to take them through take them through their story. That their process might be different. They could be doing a whole nother thing. They could be in cosmetology school, but God can still love them through that process and take them even further than they ever seen before.
Absolutely. So can you elaborate on uh when God dropped the business on you?
So that in itself is hilarious. I was literally, well, not hilarious. It's been a process because I'm still even trying to learn how to do that correctly. Because I was like, I don't even know nothing about fashion. God, what are you talking about? So I actually during COVID, I was living with my best friend and her family, and I remember just sleeping, and then like I had this idea. I actually thought it was going to be a t-shirt brand, and it shifted, and it keeps shifting, and I keep praying and walking forward. And so I saw designs and I started to create them on my tablet, sorry, because I like graphics. So I started to design them. And then afterwards, I got the name of the business. Then I was like, but that don't feel like me, God. I don't want a t-shirt brand. He's like, I never said it's going to be that. I said, it's going to be he said at the time, he said, it's going to be a Christian apparel brand. I was like, okay. Then someone told me to re-pray about it. And I heard your brand, and it might not be there quite yet, but I heard your brand will be a business apparel brand for tall women. So that is eventually what I inspired to develop it to. But for now, it's called Beauty Behind the Ashes. And it's like kind of, I love the name because it's kind of something someone's seen for me. It was like a crown being placed on a girl's head, and God said, I will give you beauty for your ashes. And I know it's a Bible verse too, but it was like a dream for me that someone told me they seen for me. And that's why I think it's so awesome that that was a name for that. And to sub segue, the second download God gave me to start this year, I actually had it last year. I heard it last year and I started this year because I felt the push that it needs to start. Um, my modeling group that I started is called Beauty from Within. It's a modeling organization where it's just meant to, it's a modeling networking group where we can come together and encourage each other, love on each other, share our stories, ask for advice, or simply share tips, and even a place where we can spotlight different people that are rock stars or just wanted to tell about where their journey's been. So that's kind of where it's starting, and I'm still learning how to do that. So everything I'm doing is kind of a process, but I'm just trusting God that, like, even though I don't know the pieces, I'm just walking for it, taking a step, and you're going to send somebody else. I didn't have different mentors throughout this process. I had a graphics mentor, and I was like, she's West of me, and I was finishing college. Like, I got the download from my company while in college, shifted a couple times. Now I got a different mentor, and it's like, keep walking. I'm gonna keep sending to people. I don't even know how it's gonna be. I don't know where it's gonna inspire to, but as I walk, he's gonna keep shifting it. As I walk, he's gonna keep shifting me. All of it's gonna keep going, and even if any of the process drop, I'm trusting he's going to keep taking my hand and keep inspiring me and keep developing me into something new. So who knows, in a year, all of these pieces will be there, or if anything might blow up or be something different. I'm just trusting. I'm taking it, and I'm trusting in my obedience. It's going to be better, that it's going to keep growing and developing.
Absolutely. Because one of the things that, I get a lot is, won't you just pick one thing? And I'm like, I can't. That's not how God made me. I'm multifaceted. I can do a lot of things. And some people struggle with multitasking. I love it. I don't like when I'm just doing one thing or nothing at all. So I'm constantly busy, but everything is scheduled. It's on purpose. Is this year, last year, 2022 was the redefining of me. God had to sit me down and he said it was time to get back to the blueprint. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, you were building in the wrong direction.
Hmm.
So I needed you to go back to the beginning and pretty much pick up the pieces. Go back to and find out where you went wrong at and correct it. As we know in the things when it comes to blueprints, there is a purpose for it. Not only do you know the design, but it helps you to avoid losing time, losing money, and definitely going in the wrong direction. You need to build something that's stable. I can't build nothing without God.
That's true.
So when you start saying I, you need to go back to the blueprint.
Yeah.
You should be saying this is
That's
um
actually how my year ended. Like because I was like freaking out. Like it's the post grad for me, even the in going to in school was kind of crazy for me. But like post grad, I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure this out. But I'm trying to submit it. Then I'm trying to figure it out. And then I'm trying to submit it. And then I'm trying to figure it out. And then every time I submit it, things work out. But then I'm trying to figure it out. And it's like a back and forth, back and forth. Then at the end of the year, I've seen a lot of different things on social media and it kind of shook me up a little bit. And then different things happen. I seen like young people passing and I'm like, and it made me, because of course of where my faith is, I'm not worried about my life or when it ends or when it begins. None of that. But it made me think, whenever you take me, God, I want you to be back. I want you to be proud of what I've done. And I want to still inspire to do what you want me to do, and to be who you want me to be. I want to be back as your mouthpiece. So God, I surrender it back to you. I'm not going to say I'm perfect because I just, toward the end of the year was like, let me get my life back together and focus back on you. But I can say I have more peace, and he has literally been helping me with the bookings, helping me plan this. All right, say this, do this. Like with the business, like with the networking thing, he told me to write that and to do this. And like, okay, add these people. Like I'm taking those steps, and now it's becoming easier because I'm not taking it myself. And I'm praying. He's like, okay, you want to do that, but let's pray about it. And that shift is shifting how I feel. So constantly trying to get back into that space where I'm submitting it back actually does give me more peace. That's why I say like the process is like I, then we, but we always works better than I. But it's like so easier because society will keep asking you, what do you feel? What do you want to do? But in reality, that's not what God said. God said, bring your burdens to me and I will make them lighter. But yet we keep picking them up and thinking that's what we were supposed to do. Like, oh, these are my problems. So you can hear them, but I'm going to keep picking them up. And he's like, no, lay them here and I'll take care of you. So I want to get back to that space where it's like, it's me and you, because when I think about it, I felt shaken up because it was one part of me like, I want you to be proud. But the other part was like, I want to be ready if somebody's life is on the line. And if what I could have said could have saved your life, I want to be ready for that. I want to be ready that just me smiling at you was enough, or just me saying what God wanted me to say is enough. We gotta realize people's lives are on the line, no matter what industry you are in. And I know some people might be scared of me after saying that, but that's where my heart is. I want to be back into that place. No matter where I go, you feel his love. I don't have to talk about God for you to understand that there's something different about me. And yes, it's going to come with rejection, because I even got rejected by a roommate. And I'm like, God, she hate everything about me. I don't understand. I didn't even know if it was a race thing. He said, it's your spirit. Something about you, everything you do makes her annoyed. I used to wake up to pray. I used to just, how I take out the trash, things, nothing made sense. But he said it's your spirit. So I had to accept it. And now I understand not everybody is accepting his spirit. So something in them is rejecting it. So it's okay if people reject me, it don't make sense. But I want to be able to focus back on him. So I'm listening if it's just one of those cases where it's like they can't understand why they don't like you. But focus back on me because there's others in that room that need me.
Absolutely. And that's the empowering part, that sometimes we need that plug to rejuvenate us, re-energize us. That's a daily prayer, that because believe it or not, because we carry the light, people are going to be drawn to you. And it's conversation after conversation. It's praying for these people. It's doing this. And you have to get restored.
Yeah.
Or you're carrying other people's burdens. So you have to take the moment, as we are learning more and more, self-care. You have to take care of yourself. No longer will we be in a state where we allow people to use us and abuse us. We cannot. I strongly say, if God didn't tell you, don't go.
Yeah.
And don't do it.
That's true.
We have to continue to be free flowing in Him. We have to, or it hinders us. So your walk, yes, is shifting. Yes, because it's supposed to be ever changing. Yes, you have to elevate so you can meet these other people at a different level.
That's
We
true.
got to go higher. We got to go deeper. One thing, I don't know if you fish?
No, I never went fishing.
We got to get you water. So one thing, I don't want to say, well, one thing about fish, if you're looking for the huge fish, they're never in shallow water. If you're looking for the big Moby Dicks of the water, they will never
They're
be
too
in
big.
shallow. So that means you have to go further out and you got to go deep. Only way you can go deep is if you equipped.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. There you go.
You
That's
have to
exactly
be
it.
equipped. So yes, we're going to take some bruises. Yes, we're going to take some time where I don't know where in the world I am. Almost like, where's Waldo? I think I know, but I don't know. But however, I'm constantly moving. And that's what I want to encourage you with tonight, is that nothing that we do surprises God.
Yeah.
It was always in His plan. Always. Whether we like it or not. Even our little hiccups and our moments when, God, I'm frustrated. I'm done with it. Why does this keep on happening? And He'll say, my child, it's going to be all right. If you only could see what I see.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to get. We got to start looking like, what, God, what do you see in me? See, His word say that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
That's what He said. So if your maker say you are fearfully and wonderfully made, it don't matter what anybody else got to say. And I mean that.
Yes.
So if you go around with blonde hair, blue hair, green, purple, however I feel for the month, that's literally how it happens. But however,
Yes.
everybody else's opinion does not matter.
That's
All I want to do is please God. That's it. That's your encouraging word tonight.
Thank you.
That the light that's in you, the light that's on you, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. I mean, your biggest dream, and this is the funny part, the biggest dream that you have for yourself, God has something bigger about that.
Come on, God.
He said His thoughts are not our thoughts. So the biggest dream. What is your biggest dream? Let's go there.
I feel like it has shifted. Honestly, I kind of when I was in college, I feel like I was free flowing. I was a little upset. I was literally like the process to getting here. I was confused and upset, which is so funny. And the irony of like I have peace over my process now, but like I did that first fashion show, did a few in the summer. He says I'm a model, didn't get booked for nothing, but I'm told to focus on school. Went for a marketing degree by faith. My friend had a vision for me. Went for didn't even know it was a marketing degree. Actually, I applied to the business school, like almost failed so many times while in college. This whole walk since I stepped foot on campus been a faith walk, and I've been like, God, and it's just now making sense. Literally, as of last year, just now making sense. Well, I had little sporadic moments where it made sense. Like when I went on my study abroad, I went to this company called Atcom. It's in Greece, and that was the first time I got inspired.
Time
by
out.
Yes.
Wait. We're not gonna brush over there like you just did say you went to Greece.
Yes, God took me to Greece. Yes. So I honestly, even that was a funny journey. So my grandma was sick, and she's been sick multiple times throughout my college journey. And thank God she's alive and still doing great right now. But I remember being a sophomore in college, crying on the floor the night before, not even knowing if I was gonna pass the day in class. Because I always had an exam. Each time this thing occurred, I had an exam. So I was crying on the floor, and outside of my exam room, they had a study abroad fair happening. Like, okay, God, because at this point, and starting back now, I used to just talk to God throughout my day. I was like, hey God, so we're gonna go through this fair to collect information for my senior year because I want to go on a study abroad, and I know you can make it happen. So anyway, so we're going through the study abroad fair. I'm taking all the information, and then time went on, like a month or so go on, because time go on, certain programs close. At this point, I have another cry out moment about my grandmother's health because her health was really shaky that year. And I'm crying on the floor again, trying to study and falling asleep on a book. I get up the next day, go to the exam, leave frustrated. And by the way, I passed both of these exams. I cried on the floor and prayed about. So that was a whole nother testimony. But I'm leaving there, come back home. The study abroad fair is happening again. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go again. We're going to go again for next year. Because I keep telling God next year. And actually, I asked God, I'm like, can we go again? Because, we can just get more information. He's like, well, we ain't got nothing else to do. So it was like all nonchalant. So I'm like, okay. So I go downstairs. And I kind of wonder what would happen if I didn't. But anyway, so then I go downstairs, and it's 3 business study abroads left. So there was France, Russia, and Greece. France, I knew they was going to judge me because I don't know enough French. And then it was going to take a crunch time to learn French. And like, no, I wasn't going to do that. Then when it came to Russia, I heard no. So I was like, okay, let me leave that alone because I don't think you want me to go there. And then when it was Greece, the whole mindset the whole time, I'm coming here for next year. So I talked to the lady, and she's like, oh, just put your name down and you can meet with our professor. Because I missed the different presentations. So like, you just meet with the professor. The whole mindset that I'm going to do this for senior year. I get there, I'm dressed in fashionable, not business at all, because I was a rebel in business. So some days I'll dress business casual. Some days I'll dress like a rock star because I want to do whatever I wanted. Because I was just rebelling. I was like trying to accept what he said, but it was hard. So I was just cute. And I went to the meeting. The meeting is what I thought it was. Turned around at the end, it was an interview. So I'm talking to him. He's going through, he's like telling me like, okay, about the program. But he was like, so what is stopping you from applying to this program today? And he was like, is it this? He goes through everything I could be afraid of. Is it money? As long as you apply, you already accepted the program. I'm like, hold on, God. He said, you're already accepting the program. All you got to do is apply so you can get the scholarships to go on the program. Then he said, is it this? Everything I can be afraid of, he started to mention. Mm-hmm. So I applied I prayed about it and I applied. I was like, okay, God, let's see. So God wants, try to apply, right? And then like I was like trying to see if he was lying or not. And I applied, got accepted. I even had like a church big sister who read over my essay, got accepted into the program. And right before I even went, of course, every time I always have this testimony, money don't work right until when I'm about to go to Greece. You know, like right when I'm about to embark on that next journey, the money hit. So it's like, God, I need help again because it was extra money that was charged. But yes, I went to Greece for a study abroad for 28 days my sophomore year, summer, right before junior year. And I went to a lot of, my teacher was so great at planning this. Excuse me. We went to so many different places. We went to Athens, Aegina, Nathlio, Syros. Oh, he even went to Sparta. So I took a picture from the Sparta statue. But to fast forward back to that thingy, so while I was there, that was one of the first times since I was in Christ I really was battling with who I am again. Because it was like definitely I saw a lot of like people not being true to who they were. And at this point, since I was saved, I'm kind of like, I don't want to give you a piece of me. I want to be all of me. So you had people that would be making jokes and then go back in front of that same person. It didn't settle right with me. I'm like, no, that's not it. Like if you're gonna be you, and it's like at the same time, the only place I felt like I could fit was with people they called weird, but it's just them being themselves. That's where I fit because they were the only ones who weren't afraid to be themselves. You got people who are faking an image. It was just so much going on. And that was one of the first times I battled with that. But oh yeah, what I was gonna say when I went there, one of the like fun things because he took us. It was a business trip, so one of the places we went to was a digital marketing firm called Atcom, and I thought it was so cool because they started off just digital marketing, but they also made like different products to advance technology, like the McDonald's kiosk. They made that, and like they just made different things. So that was the first time it sparked. And I remember being junior year, we're gonna fast forward to that junior year, like, oh my God, I hate this dumb school. Like the whole process, I was mad, but I still walking forward. Even in my fear, even in my anger, I was walking forward. I was like, God, it's not making sense. I was upset. And I was like, why can't I just have a graphics major? You know, like it's easier. I love art. Let me do graphics. And he said, you can do that yourself. And then other people were like, what if God is putting you through that because he needs you to see if you gonna buckle under the pressure, or you keep going when there's pressure there, when you keep going even when it don't make sense to you. By the time I took my senior year, I loved my classes that I took in marketing. It's just everything else was actually stressful and annoying. And just as of now, the marketing degree is starting to make sense. Like people are starting to ask me for other projects, and like I'm starting to feel like this is the season where I can start to pick those projects up because last year I was a little stressed out. But it's kind of beautiful to even reflect right now about the process because at first I was saying yes, going for it, but my heart wasn't in it. Then I slowly was like, okay, it's kind of making sense. Then senior, like, okay, this makes sense, but like, how am I gonna apply it now? Because then I went, like, some of my jobs really lean heavily on sales, and I don't like that. But I know there's so many different other sectors, even as he is telling me to start my own business and the model and everything's gonna need marketing. It's gonna need that degree that you had. So regardless of if it helps these three features or if he starts to put me in the atmosphere to market myself better or even others, I believe now it makes more sense than when I first started the process. So my advice to myself and anyone else is in the beginning, the process won't make sense. It won't look like anything. Like it'd be like, why you tell me to do that? I guess I'll do it. And multiple times you'll keep feeling like, I guess I'll do it. I guess I'll do it until you start seeing the fruit and you're like, I guess I'll do it, and keep going even though it's uncomfortable. And even when you think you're not going, he gonna make you keep going if you first started saying yes. Like it's still gonna happen. Just the rate and time that you get to that place will be different if you're rejecting the process.
Absolutely. And just listening to you just reminds me of the fishermen's who toiled all night. And he like, well, Jesus, you want me to launch out? And I was just doing this all night. and I ain't getting no bites. It
Yeah.
was useless. He said, but nevertheless, now that's the part that I want you to tag and, put on a bow. But nevertheless, at your word, I will do it. So Jesus told him where to launch his net. Now, the good thing is there were two boats. Both of them were empty at the time. He told him, okay, Simon Peter, come on. I need you to launch out a little deep. Now, I told you, if you were looking for deep fish, bigger fish, they're in the deep. They're not at shallow. So he said, nevertheless, Jesus, whatever you say, I'll do. He did it, right? Now, remind you, if you're a fisherman, you have spent enough money on a boat, your equipment, everything, to eventually take care of yourself if you call yourself a fisherman.
Yes.
Right? So he does what he told him to do. And sure enough, as God told you, you are able to bring up more than enough. You'll catch it in a minute. When you were able to bring up more than enough, not only did you bring up more than enough, you have overflow. You got to call your partners to come help you, because now your nets are about to break. So not only are you able to get your friends to help you with this load, y'all both are about to sink. So eventually you get more than enough for you and your friends. You come back to shore, and no longer are you a fisherman, as they say. They said now you are wealthy, because fish brings in wealth. So now you're no longer the fisherman that you thought you were. Not only no longer are you the model that you thought you were before you launched out into the deep. Now it's going to be bigger and better. Now you can go out, and as Jesus said, you are now a fisherman of men. Yeah. Do you see yourself?
Yeah.
So the Bible says, not only did Jesus say you're now a fisherman of men, they walked away from their profession and followed Jesus.
God. Come on, God.
It never said they went fishing ever again.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
I catched it. I'm like trying to get my lashes not to catch it. Oh God. I definitely catched it. It's definitely multiple ways to receive it, because that's been the process. It's like, are you willing to surrender your will and follow me? And that's why I'm like, yes, I am so grateful. I cried in my kitchen yesterday saying, God, I'm grateful. You told me you trust me with more. He said he trusts me with more. That's why I'm doing more in this season. But even if you take it all away, God, I want you to know I'll still be happy. I might battle with bitterness, because that's how I started when I let go of my dream to be a DO, because I wanted to take care of my grandma so bad. That is my everything. Before Christ is everything. She was sick of everything. Like but she is my heart. And she cried with me, and I was just like, we gonna be I remember crying, telling her, like, at the end of my summer, I volunteered with my church for a year during the summer, like, instead of, because I prayed to God. I was like, God, what you want me to do in my summer? I'm getting rejected by programs that was gonna help me focus on medicine. I'm like, what's going on? Pastor's like, just pray to God, ask him what you want to do. I'm like, okay. And like, she probably knew the answer, but I didn't. So I end up like just praying, and I'm like, God, so what do you want me, like, what's up? What's up? What's going on? And I heard, I want you to volunteer with your church. And that's when my friend got the vision. And like, I don't want to explain it because it'll take a lot of time, but basically the story is, through the end of it was, I want you to switch to business, because what I wanted to do wasn't gonna mix. Now I get what the squiggly line meant. It wasn't gonna mix with what God had for me. And it was separation. Like, it's either you be this or this. And I remember the whole summer doing stuff for other people, wanting to listen for other people, doing stuff. And God said, when will you listen for me? When will you listen for your own life? And that was the day I got the instruction and I prayed about it. He told me to call the College of Business. I called them, switched my major, then cried with my grandma right after, telling them that God wants me to go into business. Knew nothing about business. So everybody's like, oh, I'm so grateful you got a marketing degree. I knew nothing about business. So I struggled being obedient. I remember crying because I didn't know if I would pass the classes. I wasn't the best student while I was in school, but I kept being obedient and kept showing back up. So yes, I get both sides of it where it's like part of me receives it as like in the now, think about still being that fisherman. But even in the past, I still felt like that fisherman that gave it up. And the only thing I regret is the resentfulness. And I know it's going to be more stuff in my life I'm going to have to give up. So I'm grateful to learn from that. Like, I feel like my process would have been easier if I wasn't so resentful because I was hurt. I'm like, God, you tell me to do this, but it hurts. It wasn't easy. I thought if he told me to do it, it should be easy. It's actually way harder. And the business students were so snobby. They were mean. That was the first step. And so you like, how did you feel in modeling? They were mean too. Because they say everything God puts you in is you're going to feel smaller. So he can get the glory. So he can lead you through it.
It will continue to,
it was better now. But then I was just
right.
like, what's
It'll
going
make
on?
sense. But of course, when we're in it, if you keep thinking of a fisherman and you keep thinking of trailblazer, you're the first.
Yeah.
And so there's the pressure that nobody really wants to talk about. And this is why I'm here. There's a disconnect. Tell me the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Don't tell me the good part and don't tell me the hell you had to go through to get to the good part.
Yeah.
So that means the totality of you. So I'm glad that we had this conversation. You had to get it out. So going forward, when someone wants to have a conversation with you, when you're on the success that you're already on, it'll make sense to you that you listen to God. You didn't have to be the stubborn one. You didn't have to get whooped to get in shape. Obedience will open doors quicker than you want the sacrifice. I don't want that part. I want to do it as soon as he say. I don't question God at all. And just being in that place of stepping out of the boat, going into the deep. I thought I could swim. I thought I was a good fisherman. But then when Jesus showed up, nevertheless, at your word, I'm going to do it. So, all of this deep conversation. There's a couple of things that I normally say or ask of my people. We know that you are into modeling. You graduated with a marketing degree. We know that you have your own business. We know that you have a modeling group. What is something that people will be surprised to know about you?
Surprised out of all of those things? Because those just happened. That's kind of hard. I wish I had like prepared for like what's surprising about me. I guess, well, throughout this conversation is not surprising anymore, but well, I don't know. Geez, I was gonna say I've been doing all of this in fear. Like, they say if you are afraid, some people let fear stop them. Do it in fear. That is literally like they say, do it in fear, go past it, keep pushing past it. A lot of the stuff that people see, well, I don't know if you meant a tangible thing that people don't know about me, but I wanted to say for my journey where everyone sees the glitz and glamour, I am definitely pushing past myself every segment. I was bullied growing up. I was bullied most of my life, and I did not feel good enough. And I still battle that because that mindset is what I'm battling every day. when I get up every day, when I want to go into atmospheres, but God has been delivering my mind. I can now sit in rooms and not feel like they're judging me immediately. Sometimes I still battle with it. But my biggest thing, a lot of people don't know if they just look at me, is that I've been through a lot mentally, a lot of rejection, even and abandonment, even from family. It's some stuff I carry. Sometimes we painting and looking at other people's walk and we want to be like them, but we don't know what sacrifice it took to be in it. It takes sacrifice to walk into who you are. Like how you said the other models, they had bulimia as a face and stuff. Right now, they say the market is getting fluid. And it is still harder to find the job, but I'm just trusting that I don't care what their odds is. I'm banking on God because 99.999, matter of fact, 100% of the time, he comes through and defines every single odd there is. Every single odd. So I just trust that even in the sifting, even in the pain, even as everything is coming out, that even this gonna be part of my process. So like if I take the modeling, everything I'm doing and put it on the wall, everything I'm going through, I trust that he's putting me through this to make me a better person. Honestly, I battled so much in my mind in different seasons. I'm like, even when I went to New York, I was so hard on myself because of what I've been through. I just can't wait to be 100% mentally free. People probably think I am, or people probably don't, but it's a process. And that when you see somebody else going through and you're like, why don't they just get over it? You don't know their story, so be patient with them. Some people can't just get over it because God needs them to go through that so that he can truly make them over it. So all of what I've been through isn't cleaned out yet, but I can peacefully say I see some of the things that started in my journey isn't here now.
Absolutely. Man, I don't know if I should put on the shouting music or I'm not sure. But however, it is a great testimony. It is a great I didn't know it was gonna go this way, but that's our God. Um I never have any questions planned. So whatever and however God chooses in our conversation, that's on him. Um I wanted to again give you your flowers now, let you know that I see you. I'm glad that in 2021 I met you, and that the beauty that's within is showing up on the outside. And the main point is that you continue to shine in places that might not feel that good, might not look that good. But when I see you, I know you with God and God is with you. Um, let me see. Um, so I wanted to shout a couple of things before we get off tonight. Just to let people know, please like, share, and subscribe. If there's something that you want to ask Nadia while we're on, you can write in the chat, and I will see it. Ask the question to her. I will get back to that again. Again, if there's anything you want to ask her, this is the time to ask her that question. You can write it in the chat room, and I'll be able to see it. Again, in October of last year, going into the new year, right about Halloween, I believe it was, I released my first single book. And I talked about it earlier. The Blueprint, God's Design. It is on Amazon. You guys can write down the link, be supportive in that way. But it is a good read, and not because I wrote it, but it was actually orchestrated by God Himself. Me just being a steady writer of listening to God and what He wanted me to say to His people. Also, if you want to donate to the show, keep the lights on, as I say. There's a Cash App, $ Sunshine Camila, how you really spell my name, KAMILAH. Again, if you want to donate, you can do that. Also, one of my Perilous Times. Um, she is a wonderful alto. When I tell you, oh my gosh, you will see. So Alita Cotton, she does ginger and turmeric drinks, and when I tell you they taste delicious, I almost drunk one of them as if it was, um, if you know how I was about Mountain Dew, I was drinking it just like that. It is very, very delicious. I promise you, you want to support her as well. She is on Facebook at AYECEE support degrees on her business. And again, this is a village. We need to support our own. And yeah, so speaking of perilous times, the tickets are on sale right now. Come on, say it, people with me. The tickets are on sale right now. It is going to be in the Fisher Theater, April 6th through the 8th. Again, you don't want to miss this wonderful play. You don't want to miss this experience. I get to see it because I am part of the chorus, but I tell you, the amount of talent and gifted people that is God fearing that is in this play, I promise you, is nothing like it. I promise you. I am blown away every time we have rehearsal because God really steps in and takes over. Again, to buy the tickets is BroadwayInDetroit.com. Again, BroadwayInDetroit.com. Nadia, my love, I have enjoyed your conversation. Again, I'm not sure if I wanted to put on the shouting music. Did I want to say amen? Did I need a tambourine? I'm not sure. But all I know is God is definitely in the building. So, with all of that being said, do you have anything that you want to say to the people?
I don't think I have anything else. I think it was really nice. It was definitely not scary, like you said. It's just, I love that it was a conversation.
The good thing is, I'm like your cousin, your auntie, your big sister, all of that all wrapped in one. I'm always the one that comes in and give people hugs because again, I want to make sure my light shines, whether it's me smiling, whether it's, hey, you need a hug. And I do this at work. Trust me. And God shows me, people going through, and I'll ask them, like, do you want a hug? And they'd be like, if I hug you, I'm probably going to break down. But in the meantime, I'll pray for you. This is the first time in my life where I am free to be me. All of me, ordained minister, me being silly, being the sunshine that I am. I am truly um, not hiding or being multiple people.
That's awesome.
So um, I had a great time with you. And again, we have some, let's see if we have some comments. Oh, let's see. AC's T is happy to serve. Yay! Her stuff is awesome. Is awesome. You're welcome, honey. You are welcome. I want to tell you, everyone that knows me, I believe in our village. It takes all of us for us to elevate together. One people, um, crabs don't belong in buckets. So if the crabs don't belong in buckets, when are we gonna understand that we supposed to be free? Okay, I'll let y'all sleep on that one. But however, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, and one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It's been proven since I started this show. I always speak into existence what I want, what I see, what I know that God is. I told somebody last week that God told me, if He told you, Nadia, to go into business. And I want you to remember this. Today is January 24th, 2023. Okay? If God told you to change your major to business, right? And he got you on this journey. God told me that he was taking Ellen DeGeneres off to replace her with me. Now, God ain't no liar, is he?
No.
So, I said all of this to say I don't know how it's going to happen. And when people meet me, I say, you know what? You're going to need my autograph. I promise you. Because I'm going to be famous. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know God said it. He's not a liar. And it's going to happen in his time. All I got to do, if y'all haven't heard all night, Nadia said that she continues to walk forward. So now we are fishermen of men. And God, our leader, our Jesus, is the one who take care of us. I ain't never have to fish again. So I will bid you guys adieu. We will be back here on Thursday with one of my church sisters, Tanae White. She's going to be here. And you don't want to miss that conversation either. Again, we'll be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. on time to make sure that we have enough time to have the conversation about this wonderful, multifaceted woman who is awesome, not only to the body of Christ, but to the marketplace. So again, thank you, Nadia, for coming in tonight to share your story, your testimony. You are a beautiful light, and don't let nobody, or auntie coming to get them, don't let nobody deter you from the assignment that God got you on. Again, everybody, see you later.